Kitas kalbėtojas yra iš Suomijos, profesorius, labai įdomi asmenybė. Aš jį paguglinau, naujas lietuviškas žodis, paguglinti, ir suradau, jisai yra iš tikrųjų medijų meistras ir pedagogas. Manyčiau, kad jo pasakos šiandien bus nepaprastai įdomus, jo tema yra medijų ir informacinis raštingumas Suomijos švietimo sistemoje. Kviečiu Reijo Kupiainen.
Nice to see you all here. Next half an hour I will spend talking something about the Finnish media education, and I will also have some examples, videos, just quite everyday life at the school in some part in Finland. I will follow something from my research, latest research, but first I will show you or tell you something about the national policies we have at the moment in Finland when it comes to media education, and then just a short, very short history of media education in Finland. And next one is how media education, how we understand it in our schools, something about the curriculum. And then examples, what there is happening at the school, how they teach media education or media literacy, information literacy, and then some questions about the future. And of course, one point on this is this using mobile apps and internet and things like that. Let's start. We have at the moment some kind of national policy guidelines for media literacy, information literacy and media literacy. And actually I have one sample here with me. We have this kind of booklet. Just shortly we introduce something about what kind of how we see media education and how it is seen in our policy. And there is some guidelines for media education. And of course, this is only a booklet, and we hope, of course, that some goals that we have here, that we will reach the goals, because the booklet, the paper is not enough. After that, we need some action, and that action we are actually waiting at the moment. But as you see, these goals are quite simple ones. Only something about the high quality of media education, of course. We all want that kind of thing. Something about the sustainable structures, promoting media literacy, information literacy, and so on. Activities and various stakeholders in media education profile. And I think that's what we really have. We have quite many NGOs, we have Ministry of Education, Ministry of Culture, all those are working on media education. And they have a lot of projects, and we have had actually in Finland projects since 2002 or something like that, almost 15 years. And still we are going on and finding solutions for the problems that we have. And the last one here is that Finland should play some kind of active role in the global media education activities and policies. And we are, of course, looking forward to this kind of steps. But how do we understand media education in Finland? What kind of objectives, goals we have? And I think this is quite same than in Europe. One thing is, of course, that media education is a practice. And after that practice, when you have learned media, something about the media, then you will become media literate. So the literacy, or media literacy, or information literacy is some kind of the goal of the media education, or some kind of the outcome. And this follows David Buckingham's ideas that media education is something that we learn and teach about the media, about the internet, about the television, about the newspapers and things like that. And of course, with the media, so we will use different kind of media devices when we do the practice of media education. We have different kind of concepts in Finland. Media literacy is one, in Finnish medialukutaito. Another one is media skills, mediataito. And now when we are rewriting our school curriculum that will be published in 2016, there will be new term. This new term is multiliteracy. And multiliteracy is some kind of umbrella term that means that under that term there is media literacy, there is cultural literacy, digital literacy, everything about the literacy. Multiliteracy means different perspectives with literacy. And this is something that we are just starting to use, and also there are lots of seminars actually like this, teachers, librarians, and all together, and they will think, what does it mean? What does multiliteracy mean, and what does it mean for me? How I can use multiliteracy in my classroom or in the library. It was just some weeks ago when I was in one conference, seminar, when teachers and librarians were together, and the topic of the seminar was multiliteracy. And of course, online safety. As you see, there are a lot of problems, of course, when kids are using internet. And online safety is something that also should be taken care of at schools. Then, next goal is active citizenship, or digital citizenship. It means more active role, so that we can enhance students and of course all the people to use their voice on the media and use different media devices so that they can tell their own stories and not only just hear what others are doing or what kind of news media is telling. They also can have some kind of skills to tell news, make videos, make radio programs and things like that. It's participating to the society, participating to the active processes of the society. And this of course means at the same time some kind of democracy, that everybody has some skills to participate by using media. And of course this is one of the most important goals of media education when it comes to Finland. And it is related to this last one, productivity. How to produce different kind of things, be creative and also interactive on the media. So this is the short history now. The history of media education in Finland starts from 1960s. There were active questions about, especially from newspaper and teaching newspapers. And also films, television, and mass communication. The term that was used in the 1960s was audiovisual education or mass media education. And from mass media education in the 1970s, we started to use the term communication education. And only in 1990s, media education. So before that it was communication education, and newspapers, television, mass media has had really big role on learning and teaching. Or they were some kind of focus on teaching and learning. So this is a history, the terms that we have used, and now we are in the new century. We face new kind of problems, we face new kind of media use, we face new kids, new students, etc., etc. And multimodality, of course, where we at the same time write, make pictures, make sounds is in our everyday life. But that's why we have to teach for media literacy. And at the moment in our school curriculum, we have a so-called cross-curricular theme, not a single school subject, but a cross-curricular theme that is communication and media skills. Almost impossible to see from the slide, but from here. In upper secondary school than it is in basic education. I do not know why. Why there is skill and other one there is competence. But that's the situation that we have. So there are some objectives, and I think that those what I mentioned before, objectives of media education, are quite the same here. But as I mentioned also, the curriculum will be changing. At the moment we have this cross-curricular theme, but after a few years, 2016, when we need to have this new curriculum, this does not exist anymore. So we will have this multi-literacy as some kind of key concept and cross-curricular theme that has to be, teacher has to teach it in every class and integrate different subjects like biology, physics, etc., etc. But at the moment, this media education, I call it media education, not communication and media skills, but media education, because it is practical media education. At the moment, it is taught mostly in the visual arts class, also in Finnish language class, and then the schools have different kind of projects, media projects with local media. These images are example of media project that children in a secondary school wrote some articles to the local newspaper. And they had a lot of space to write articles, but also they took all the images. So they told the stories about, from their own perspective, what is important for them. Because newspaper tells stories from everywhere from the world, stories that maybe are interesting from the point of view of adults, but not from the point of view of young people. And that's why it's important also that sometimes young people can make their own news and they will be published in local newspapers. These stories about the school trips, how it is expensive to go with the school class somewhere else and spend some time there. And it's impossible to do without money. But also, this is related to this newspaper week. Once a year, newspaper association, the Finnish Newspaper Association, arrange a newspaper week where schools can circulate or order newspaper for every student. Usually these are local newspapers. And also they use newspapers in the classroom in different kind of ways. For example, they make analysis of the articles. They can follow what kind of genres there are, or who is speaking in some article, what kind of images there are, who has been taking the images, etc., etc. So, and also in some local newspapers, students can write their own stories in the newspaper. So this is also quite interesting week that they have in every school in 1 week, usually in February. And the last example here is the school cinema. School cinema means that the students will have possibility to go to the film theater with the teacher, and school cinema will publish some kind of material that the teachers can use in their class. For example, resources where there is something about the film, maybe some assignments, how to analyze the film or how to use it in different school subjects. And what we have in Finland is that there are a lot of resources, a lot of different learning materials in different websites. And this school cinema is one of these websites where you can download information about films and also information how to use the film at school. So what are how they can use these materials, or how they media educate at the schools? And I have here some examples, video examples, and these are actually, these examples are not in my book, but I made some research some years ago, in 2013 I published a book, Media and Digital Literacies in secondary school, and I also comment some of these things that you will see next videos. But what I saw at the school is that usually teachers use 3 different kind of techniques. First one is textual analysis, and it means that they take, for example, texts or images or video or something else and try to analyze it in different kind of ways. So this is quite a basic thing in Finnish schools. It's kind of analysis that make the familiar kind of strange, trying to understand the text in a new way and see who is behind the text, who is writing us, and what kind of language and perspectives and things like that he or she is using. Kind of close reading of the text. Another one is simulation. It means that you, for example, start to act like a journalist. You, as a student, think that you simulate the way how journalists are writing stories and make newspaper or things like that. So it's the way to understand different roles in media, how journalists do things, what kind of pressures they have, for example, what problems there are, that they have to keep the schedule and things like that, and also make interesting stories. And last one is the production, that they produce films and things like that, and I think that we will see more examples about that in our next presentation, right? Yes, okay. So, examples. First one is from a movie course. It was a course that took 2 terms, 3 hours per week. So it's quite a long course, and what students did, they studied something from film history. Teacher had some examples of film history or movie history. There was some film screenings, they made analyses from the films. And also one goal was that they learned some kind of visual thinking and storytelling, telling the stories by using images and moving pictures. And during this course, students made two different films. The example I have here is that there is in a class, it's a really simple task. Teacher is teaching about film tricks, how to make just a simple film trick. So sometimes this is quite simple thing. Just they take a camera and start to do something. It's like a pen. Camera can be like a pen. With the pen you write different kind of things. You start, for example, scratching something or make images. Camera can be the same kind of device than a pen. And I will show you an example. This is shot by one of the students and by me.
Valmista.
So this is really simple thing to help understand that everything that you see is not true. That there are different kind of tricks made in every movie, every film. And by this simple task, they start to understand this kind of thing. Another example is a document from the media school. It's some kind of studio in Tamperes living that is available for teachers and students. They can come to the media school and start to do some kind of film or whatever media they want. And this is some sort of document that gives some kind of idea what kind of space it is, how students are doing things there. The thing is that they actually write the story, get the idea, and start to do it with the teacher. So the students are in the main role. It's not the teacher who tells what to do. It's the students who decide. And they all have some kind of role here. So this is more like a student-oriented way to do things. Teachers are, of course, they are giving their advices and arrange different kind of things. Here the teacher is telling how to edit, for example, but the students do the editing themselves. And the idea actually in this film was that students want to tell something about Facebook, surprise. What kind of thing is Facebook? What bad things there are and what good things there are? And this is all about the movie. This is like two different goals of the Facebook. Next example is from the visual arts class, animation workshop. And you can see simple thing how the class can be used and is used in an animation workshop. Teacher is telling here how to add some voice or music or other things to the animation. Giving some advice on what programs you can use and how to make different kind of voices. The equipments are not very good, actually. They have 4 laptops, I think, at school, at whole school, and 2 cameras or things like that. So, but they, for example, in this animation course, use these in one classroom. So it's not always questioned about the equipments. Nowadays, there are more tablets and things like that, and also cell phones that you can use if you want to make animation. I will skip the animations here, or we can take one example. This is what they need. Just from abstract animation, how shapes will change. And last example here is from the Finnish language class about advertisements, how to understand advertisements, how what kind of messages there are behind advertisements and how they possibly impact and what kind of impact modes they have. So this is an example of simulation. The students were some kind of advertising agency that had a task to product one advertisement, and the product was named YouTube. YouTube does not mean anything in Finnish or in any other languages, I think. It's only in the assignment that you have to do advertisements where the product is called YouTube. It could be whatever. And then the students started to think what it would be, what kind of language they will use, because the target group of the advertisement had to be young children or young people. So this is task where a teacher tries somehow deepen students' understanding of language of advertisements and language of media. Different kind of concepts and experience will come together. How much I have time?
You're almost out.
Okay. So this is an example of advertisement that they made by using paper and photos. Just example of, for example, before and after structure. But I will skip the next example because the time is going out. The thing is that there are, what I was looking at was some kind of curriculum-based production and teaching and media education. And this is usually mostly teacher guiding production. Teacher starts to do something or give assignments and tasks for students. And it happens, as I call it, in official school spaces. It really is after learning and teaching about the media. Some kind of learning by doing in a way, because they are, you see, doing things, not only reading books. They use their whole body into media when they do media productions. But there is also some other kind of way to do these things. And I call these out-of-school-based media practices. And it means that students bring to the school different kind of media practices. And for example, in everyday life, they write fan fictions, they do some short films, they play online role play, they write fashion web blogs or some other web blogs, and nowadays more and more video blogs. Also, some of them were some kind of game designers. They, of course, took photographs, they make artworks and things like that. This happens out of the school, and not in the school space, but out of the school. But they bring these practices to the school. For example, some of the kids, they were writing their blog during the school classes, or some of them write fan fictions whenever they had some free time. And this is quite a challenge for the school, because teachers do not know what the students are doing. And in an ideal world, this can be combined in a way that these out-of-school practices and school practices could help each other somehow. Out-of-school practices are some kind of peer-based learning from others, social learning, and learning to be participant. It's the way to start to understand media in a different way. But also teachers are important here. Teachers can give them students advices. They can support students and, of course, show them, for example, how to be critical in a different way when students are doing things with the media. And this is the last slide I have here. My question here is that should school learn something about these out-of-school practices? Can they utilize these out-of-school practices somehow? Because students are really motivated to do these kind of things. And this collegial pedagogy means that there are need for both students and teachers. They are colleagues. Teachers do not only tell the students what to do, but also students are participating in different kind of, as you saw, for example, from these examples, students are more active when they are part of the teaching processes. And teachers are like some kind of guides who can help them. So both are still needed, but we have to find new ways how students and teachers can interact in more positive way, for example in Finland as we. Thank you.